So everyone is saying that the new Steam machine is obsolete on arrival, that it is underpowered, that it is irrelevant in 25. But here's the thing, they are kind of missing the point here, because the bigger picture is kind of missing here. And this machine isn't really built for chasing the specifications of the machine, right? It is made for the average Steam user, which is actually running similar or worse hardware than the Steam machine is. Valve isn't appeasing the shareholders who demand insane quarterly growth. Valve is actually doing exactly what we gamers have asked them to do. Here's the recap of the Valve's announcement. Valve reintroduced the Steam machine, scheduled for launch in early 2026. It's a mini PC/console hybrid running Steam OS 3 with full Steam integration. On the hardware front, a semi-custom AMD Zen 4 CPU with 6 cores and 12 threads, up to 4.8 GHz and 30 watts TDP, plus a semi-custom AMD RDNA 3 GPU with 28 CUs up to 110 watts. The base RAM memory 16 gigabytes of DDR5 upgradable, plus the 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 VRAM. On the storage front, we get to choose between 512 gigabytes or 2 terabytes of SSD, plus a front-facing micro SD card, which you can use to change games with your Steam Deck or maybe with your friends. Input and outputs feature DisplayPort 1.4 up to 4K and 240 Hz, or maybe even 8K with 60 Hz. Also, there is HDMI 2.0 that is able to hit 4K 60 Hz in full chroma subsampling mode, but you may be able to take even 4K 120, but that will set you back with some chroma subsampling issues. Ethernet is built in, USB-A ports, USB-C port, Wi-Fi 6E, and Bluetooth 5.3. It has a front LED strip with 17 addressable RGB LEDs for status or customization. In terms of weight and dimensions, it's about 15 centimeters tall, a little bit wider than that at 156 millimeters, and weight is about 2.6 kilograms. Operating system environment, as I already said, a SteamOS version 3 is featuring KDE Plasma Desktop, but optimized for gaming, for fast suspend, resume, cloud saves, etc., like the Steam usually gives you. Valve claims that the Steam machines is over 6 times more powerful than the Steam Deck that they already have, and which sold like over 5 million units, and it's rated to handle 4K gaming with upscaling up to 60 frames per second. According to analysis, this kind of makes sense because the 28 compute units RDNA 3 is neither cutting-edge desktop graphics card nor is weak. Valve treats this as PC first. You can install other operating systems, even Windows, if you so desire. It is not designed for maximum theoretical throughput, but for efficient, usable performance in a compact, living room-friendly form factor. The integrated Steam controller pack lets you wake the machine via controller. Quite thoughtful touch. So why are people criticizing? Why the obsolete on arrival mantra? Many critics point out that the specs aren't mind-blowing. Zen 4 is not brand new. 16 gigabytes of RAM and 8 gigabytes of VRAM isn't massively by high-end gaming PC standards. Some say it's underpowered compared to modern GPUs or next-gen consoles. There is no announced price yet, which fuels some speculation. Others assume Valve is trying to compete with ultra-powerful desktop rigs or chasing Xbox Series X PS5, but that's not what it seems that Valve is doing. So, why is this criticism missing the point? Most Steam users have modest hardware. According to the Steam hardware survey, the most common RAM size is among 16 gigabytes of RAM. 16 gigabytes of RAM was also common in May of this year, and 8 gigabytes of VRAM remains a very popular category. In fact, the highest percentage of Steam users still use an 8 gigabytes graphics card. These are not high-end gaming machines. For many Steam users, the new Steam machines would be on par or better than their current hardware. Valve isn't designing for the ultra enthusiast market. The performance target 4K 60 plus FSR and power budget are realistic and well chosen. Not everyone needs a 4K native resolution at uncapped frame rates. Valve claims that Steam Machine beats 70% of PCs in the Steam survey. That means Valve is placing this machine firmly in the majority, not in the niche of ultra high-end gamers kind of a market share. So, what about the value proposition and long term strategy? Because Valve owns Steam, they don't necessarily need to profit massively on the hardware itself. They benefit from the software, game library, and ecosystem. For someone whose Steam library already exists, this could be a surprisingly cost effective console to bring PC level gaming to a TV slash living room. The micro SD expansion and the fact that you can install other operating system makes it very flexible, not locked down like a typical console. So rather than chasing maximum quarterly growth or chasing bleeding edge silicon, Valve seems to be building for gamers, not for shareholders. This aligns with Valve's historically philosophy: empower the user, give them choice, and lean into the Steam ecosystem, not just push hardware specifications. I want to bring the ball home here. So, the 8 gigabytes of VRAM might limit performance in some demanding games like the VRAM heavy games, especially at high resolution with high textures. Some tooling, because it's 30 watts TDP for the CPU and 110 watts for the GPU, it's not going to match high-end desktops with 300 watts plus GPUs. Valve hasn't announced the price just yet. If they misprice, the value argument weakens. The lack of Thunderbolt, maybe some modern input outputs could limit expansion for some power users, and upgradability might be limited versus a full desktop rig. But honestly, my own favorite argument is that we, the gamers, shouldn't be matching the gaming requirements, by matching our hardware. It should be the other way around. The game developers should match their games to match, the hardware that we already own. And this is something that maybe feels like you can only dream about, but if we show it to the developers, I call this voting with your wallets. If we show to the developers that the majority of users have PCs that kind of match the PlayStation 5, which is already enjoying well optimized games, then why should we be treated worse than our console brothers? Why are PC gamers getting lesser experiences just because we have the option to purchase like 3,000 euros PCs? That doesn't sound like a good, compromise to me. So why this machine matters more than you think? It represents a mature vision, Valve doubling down on hardware that complements their strengths, Steam, Proton, operating system integration, and not chasing who has the fastest GPU. It could accelerate Linux slash SteamOS adoption in the living room for the gaming, bringing more users into the Steam ecosystem in a way that's more accessible than building a dedicated gaming PC. For game developers, this is interesting. Defined Valve box specifications means there is a relatively consistent baseline that many users could adopt. And for consumers, this is a plug and play PC gaming experience for your TV with PC level compatibility and flexibility without building a full rig. So, yeah, the people who are complaining that the new Steam machine is already obsolete, well, they are not entirely wrong, are they? But they are also missing the point about what Valve is actually doing here. Valve is not chasing the high-end rig. This is about giving the real Steam users a very good value proposition for the living room and for your desk as a cute little cube. And of course, the Valve isn't, aligning with the Wall Street. They are aligning with the gamer. And that's pretty cool. If you liked this video, hit that like and subscribe. And do you think that the Valve has undershot too much? Let me know in the comments down below. And I'm going to see you next time on Linux Renaissance.